This Three Beards Media podcast may contain mature themes and may not be suitable for all audiences.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? I'm sending this text message out real quick. Somebody was texting me. Shit, what up, man?
What's going on, man? Nice to see you again.
You too. Hey, and new intro, awesome. Like,
Thank
I haven't
you.
seen it like as we've done a show, because that's the new one.
Yep.
I like how you did that. I like how you brought everything in. That's pretty fly. I like it.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So Revelton must be giving us some good money, because that editing on there, Revelton, thank you. Because we got some money now, I guess, so we can make some better things. I heard your voice in there, Ship. You was trying to be all smooth and very whitish.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm the whitest Barry White you ever seen in your life.
Oh, but once
a game show voice. When I worked at a call center, I used to answer the phone all suave and whatever. My friends would be like, "Look at that game show voice you got going on over there."
That's what's up. Hey, I was also. It's funny, we think about Big Play Curvey, and there was a game that he got his name at.
Yep.
And it's funny that Coach Prime and CU are back in the Big 12, and that Big Play Curvey got his name against CU.
Yep.
So
that's right.
That was a rainy game, or was that a snow game?
Oh, that was the tornado game. So that was the game. That was a game where he they had to sit in the locker room. There was tornadoes before the game. And then they had I think they had a mid-game stoppage as well.
That was the longest game in our history.
Yeah. I did not realize that Joe Klatt was the quarterback for CU, that he intercepted on that play.
Well, nice.
So I was at that game. The greatest line ever is when I first met Brent and we had him on Old Man Strength, and I played that clip and I said, "Tell me about the penalty." And he goes, "I got off the field and Coach Mack was like, 'You need to act like you've been there before.'" And he's like, "Shit, Coach, I ain't never been there before, so I didn't know how to do it."
Yeah, I was at that game, and I'm not gonna brag, but I was in Jamie's suite, so I was covered the whole time. Well, everybody had to leave the stands, so it was. Yeah. I was nice and warm and toasty and dry. So I apologize to you for being out there in the rain.
I was not there.
You weren't there that one? Okay.
No, but my wife, her niece was in the stands. And they told me later, Stacy would text her, like trying to text her and calling her, telling her to get her ass out of that stadium because it was going to get really bad. So,
yeah. So as y'all see, we got my man Ship, our parent corporation, Three Beards Media. He's on here with me today. Brent Curvey, he's coaching out in Waukee, so football practice is going on right now because we're earlier today than we normally are. Because I think Three Beers comes on after this. So shit's busy all night.
At 8:00. So
Old Man Strength is on it tonight. And then Marcus is trying what?
With former Iowa State quarterback Real Mitchell.
Yeah, I always watch it. I'm gonna be on there. So. I'm gonna be on there watching, listening, ask some pointed questions. I ain't giving you no softballs. And then Marcus is trying to say not melt up in Vegas. Me and him out here on the West Coast, and we're at 31 days over 110. It's not hot enough to fry an egg like people think. So the concrete at 110, 115, the concrete's only about 140. You can't really fry an egg at that. People exaggerate it, but it's hot as hell. It's hot. It's hot. But yeah, so they're not here today. So we're doing this first kind of kickoff podcast today. We got one special guest, possibly two special guests coming on. But before I get to that, I want to start off with New York Clones. So Hall of Fame game is this Thursday versus the Browns. I'm torn, and I put this on social media when I posted the jerseys for Brees Hall and Allen that I'm going to raffle off. I haven't got my will yet because they just kind of finalizing his number. Hold on, Marcus texting us right now. What is Marcus doing?
I don't know. You keep telling a story. I'll text Marcus.
You text Marcus. All right. So what was I talking about? Marcus threw me off.
He's like, "This is right now." Yeah, read your text messages from.
Put them on the screen. But so the Jets, we have 3 players on the Jets, and it's like everybody now is a Jets fan. If you weren't one before, you are now. You know, yes, we got David Montgomery up in Detroit. Yes, we got Anthony Johnson Jr. out in Green Bay. So tell them to stop by the crib and get on live. I see him texting. It's on my computer. Tell them to stop by the crib.
Sending Marcus Jr. back to Phoenix. I said we had to go early. So
is it over?
You keep telling your story. I'll answer them. Marcus.
So so Hall of Fame game Thursday in Canton at the Canton Hall of Fame, Football Hall of Fame. So that's my home right down street from my hometown. My mom lives in Akron still, so Akron Canton is where that's at. So good luck to the first preseason game. You know, the thing about these games is this is where the undrafted, the late drafts, this is where they all got a show. They got to show up. And I always got a story, and my friends will probably kill me for saying this. But one of my best friends, Marcel Howard, you know, number 6.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So his brother played for UNI like 10 years later than him and went and played for the Raiders and things like that. And me and Marcel, we hang out, and it was 1 October. I was in Chicago for his birthday. We're like, the Raiders are playing in Cleveland. It's a 5-hour drive. Let's jump in the car. So we took 4 caravan of cars to Cleveland, stayed downtown, went and had dinner with Austin and everything like that. And then the next day was the game, and we're walking around the municipal parking lots, and Marcel's getting invited everywhere. People recognizing him, and he's going into the Browns bus and like flashing him, and like I'm in there behind him like a groupie, like, hey, what? Let me see that. What's going on? I wasn't married at the time either. So like we're just hanging out. But the whole time, Marcel's like, I fucking hate the city. This is a dope podcast. I fucking hate the city. I'm like, man, get over that. So the story behind that is Cell Block made the Detroit Lions team. The last preseason game was against Cleveland in Cleveland.
Yeah.
He broke his wrist. And it was the same wrist that he broke in college.
Yeah.
And so they cut him because it was a pre-existing, condition. So like he hates when he's going to Cleveland with me, but we sat in the dog pound and he kind of got over it because the dog pound's cool as shit. So, shout out to him and shout out to all the guys that's going and doing their thing right now this year. And trying to make these teams.
You described me to a T because I'm 100% on board with the Jets. I'm just going to tell you, it was hard. I'm a Bears fan. It's well known. It was hard for me to root for Allen. I'd want to see him catch a touchdown and then see them lose by like 20. I'd be all right with that. Yep. So when he went to the Jets, I was totally okay with it. Big fan of Brees. We had him on old man strength, but David leaving and going to the Lions and then talking about how he was tired of losing and whatever, man, you fucking cut me deep with that shit. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my David Montgomery Bears jersey. I may have to fold it up and put it somewhere for later, but I'm 100% on board with the Jets. And as a Bears fan, I can say without a fact now, I absolutely love the shit out of Aaron Rodgers now. Like
you couldn't stand him on Green Bay, but now that he's not on Green Bay.
Now he's not on Green Bay. I'm rooting 100% for that guy.
Got it.
So
when I'm working from home, I always have the TV pretty much on like ESPN, same shows over. And they were talking about the Bears today, talking about the Bears are probably going to, it's like a winning season for them. Like they got on paper, it's kind of like the Browns though, because on paper we are good. We are phenomenal on paper. And then we start playing. And so hopefully the Bears is different, where they're phenomenal on paper, and then they show up this year. So shout out to the Bears.
They need an edge rusher. That's what they need.
Oh yeah, because Fields was getting killed. Like, so they drafted well, and they got some people around him to protect him because he needs that protection. So shouts out to everybody. If you get a chance and you're in the Iowa area, the Ray Gun stores have the New York Clone shirt. I have one. I wear it on planes and things like that. But yeah, shout us out to them. And while we're talking about Iowa State footballs and players in the league right now, I do want to bring on our first guest that we have here, Sam Anker. And Sam was the long snapper for Iowa State in 2010 for sure. I don't know all the years, but I know 2010 for sure. Was that your freshman year, or was that your sophomore year?
No, so actually, I went to Wartburg College for 2 years, transferred to Iowa State. Just went to school my first year. Thought I was done with football. Went to a walk-on tryout. Went through the warm-up and thought, I don't know about this. Went through a warm-up, snapped a few balls, and got the email a couple days later, said that I'd made the squad, and so tell us more about you, because I didn't want to take your thunder, but I wanted to bring you on as we're talking about past Cyclones, and then tell us about what you're up to now. Don't go too far. We'll get there later. Yeah,
just tell us who you are. And the Iowa State connection, and we'll go that route.
Yeah, so Iowa State brought me a lot, really. Met my wife there. So now we've got 3 little boys, 9, 7, and 3. They're involved in everything sports. And I love it because I live through them now, because every morning I wake up, I got a new pain, and I can live through them, So my wife, Missy, and I, we settled down in Winterset, where I grew up. She's from Spirit Lake originally, settled in Winterset. Just thought there was maybe more opportunity for jobs in the area with, the metro being so close. So, we've been here for going on 12 years now. I opened a brewery, actually.
That's too early.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. We off script now. Go ahead. Do your thing.
No, I'm sorry. What more do you want to know about me?
Well, I'll ask you a question.
Okay. Go ahead.
Let's go back.
Go ahead.
Let's go back, because I'll bet a lot of people. I'd like to get a little familiar with you. You went for a tryout.
Mm-hmm.
You got the email.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, probably the first culture shock there, moving from Wartburg into Division I. What was your first time maybe on the field, and what was your feelings after that?
Yeah, so I joined it right at the beginning of spring ball. So I went through spring ball, and then obviously fall camp comes, and the first game I ever dressed was Iowa State. And that was
got thrown right into the fire.
I mean, that was one of the that was the coolest experience probably of my life. I grew up a Cyclone fan, wanted to be a Cyclone, went to Wartburg, played a couple of years, but it was always deep down. I was like, man, I'm a Cyclone at heart, and I just want to go experience it. Didn't know I was going to be able to make the squad, and actually I never snapped in a game, snapped in a spring game, if that counts. But
it counts.
Yeah. So there was a guy, ahead of me named Dakota Zimmerman, great guy, great long snapper. But yeah, that experience, just, running into Jack Trice, not only, for my first Division I game, but it's Iowa State, right? The energy is just like electric. I mean, you can't even describe it. It's like you hit the tunnel and it's goosebumps. And I honestly just tried to stop for a second and take it all in. So.
Yeah, speak. Oh, go ahead, Ship.
No, go ahead, George.
No, so I was going to say, like, the thing you just said was like running into Jack Trice, and I want to go backwards a little bit. So this is the 100th anniversary of Jack's death, and so October 8th is his anniversary. And JackTrice100.com, people can go out there and see what's going on in the state of Iowa, in Ames particularly, about what's going on to recognize and commemorate Jack as a celebration for his a legacy is kind of something different to say, but he started to build a legacy, but his memory, his spirit, it's all within Iowa State, Ames. It's all there. So what was it like? Like what is your memory about Jack? What is your story about Jack and why that was so important to you and why you mentioned that out of everything that you mentioned? Not just because I'm on here, but
right.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack Trice as a whole, the whole entire story, it's, people say pack the Jack. The stadium is his. And I think that we just embodied the whole entire thinking of that. And just everybody knew that Jack Trice was a special place. Jack Trice Stadium, we call it Jack Trice just because we know it's a stadium. But his story and his legacy is just, it's the roots of Iowa State, and what he did, the stuff he went through, to get a Division I stadium named after him. It's amazing, amazing doesn't even cut it.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean, when a lot of things are happening like this year, and he is, so I was at Ragbri, so I did the leg of Ragbri. You know what? Let me stop lying.
Did you cramp up?
No, I didn't cramp up. Hey, stop. Let me tell my story, Shipley. Damn it. So I didn't cramp up. I had 2 bananas before I rode. And I did ride day 2 of Ragbri. That is not a lie.
That's true.
I did 20 miles from Luther to Jack Trice is about 16 miles.
Yeah. Okay.
And I rode downtown and drank. And then I rode back over to West Ames. So I did about 22, 25 miles of the 83 that day. Okay. So I did a leg of, so just give me that. I ate 2 bananas. I don't even like bananas.
You did.
All right. Thank you. What up, Pfizer?
What's going on, fellas?
Man, they getting on me already.
I sounds like I'm coming in on the back end of a little tale, cautionary tale that's going on. What's going on?
No, we talking about Ragbri and how I did not do a whole day of Ragbri. I did a 4th of a Ragbri day.
Okay.
And it was the best day because it was overcast and it was a great day. Like I left on Wednesday night at like 6:00 and I'm driving from Ames to Des Moines to go to the airport. And I'm like, man, it's hot. It was horrible. And like, I had a good day. I think because I was dealing with 115, we dealing with on the West Coast. Yeah. So dealing with that, and then to go there for that one day and ride, I mean, I think that was just God telling me, man, I know you've been out there for 110 for 27 days. Let me give you one. That's what it was. So
I'll tell you.
Hey, hold on. Are you in Phoenix right now?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I'm in Vegas.
Okay.
Junior is coming back down, and he committed to play in that OTE league for this season.
Okay.
So the West Coast hub, the facility with Phoenix Fire, with the facility and everything down there, there's going to be the West Coast hub of the OTE. The lead that the 2 top 5, top 6 draft picks got. The Thompson twins, I think that was their name.
Yeah.
They got selected out of that league, so he's going to play in that league this year, and still be eligible for college and get ready for that whole. So he's essentially doing the 5th year, post grad year to get training and stuff down there and be in a better position than he was in this at the end of this year. So he's excited about it. He loves Phoenix, coming back down there for a year, and they're going to put him in a better position than he was in this year.
No doubt. Well, he always got a place to stay. We need a meal. I make him something. Take him over there.
I trust me. I ain't got enough food to feed that kid.
Hold on.
What you're asking for?
Is he a vegan too, or is he eat meat?
Nah, he doesn't eat a lot of stuff, like in terms of he's not a snacker. He doesn't
Okay.
like chocolate,
Okay. Wow, that's
sweets
weird.
and stuff like that. Yeah, it's especially for a kid. But he's always been that type kid. But he does eat.
Okay, well
He
then I'm
does
not gonna
eat.
feed him. I got two little ones in the house. Sam know what I'm talking about. So Mark, we got Sam Anker on here. Played for Iowa State back in 2010. And so we have him on here because he's our special guest because of all the buzz that's been going on social media today. But I'm gonna get to that in a minute. So I'm gonna pause on that. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But we were just talking about the Jack Trice 100 and all the upcoming things. But I do want to say in 2 weeks we got 2 things coming up that you don't want to miss. I'm trying to find a sponsor. If anybody wants to sponsor the Trice family to fly out to Iowa, I got 4 of us. So if you have some points and you want to donate to tricelegacy.com.org, you can donate them to me so I can fly my family back for the fair. Because Butter Jack, Butter Kurt Warner, Butter Caitlin Clark. So I talked to Sarah Pratt yesterday because they're doing a documentary on Jack and we've been working on that. And so they're actually going to get some footage of her doing the Jack from the beginning to the end. And that's going to be in part of the documentary. But she just wanted to sign the special place that she has for that. So she's apprenticing her daughters to help her with this to take over. So it's kind of sweet. She's a school teacher and she's kind of cool to talk to. But you got that going on. And then Iowa State also has a theme at the fair. They're building an 11-foot by 11-foot replica of the Breaking Barriers sculpture out of wood. So people can actually walk through that at the fair. So it hasn't been really announced. So I'm announcing it and people don't get mad at me. I know, but I'm announcing it. It's in 2 weeks. It's in 2 weeks. But they'll also have a cutout of the new uniform in the kid size. So kids can put their face, how they put their face in the wood. You can't get in this shit.
I can't get in there.
You can bend down and get in there. But it's for the kids.
I don't know that I can get up. So,
but yeah, so I'm trying to get the family back for the fair because my 2 youngest have never been to the fair. Because of the things that's going on, it's a good show of faith for me to be there, especially with what they're doing for Jack and especially with the 100th anniversary. So I'm gonna try to find a way to make it there. Credit card might be mad at me for a little bit, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, those are some things going on. But we're gonna take our first break since now we got everybody on here and we want to get that Revelton ad on there. So Revelton, thank you, and we're gonna play that Revelton ad.
At Revelton Distilling Company, everyone has become a part of the Revelton family. From the Taylors and their daughter who helped perfect their award-winning gins, to the team who installed Lucy, our 33-foot-tall custom-made still, right down to the local farms that provide our coveted corn, and even the cows on those farms who consume our mash byproduct. Want to see the farm to flask come to life? Now you can tour Lucy and find out where we take Iowa's harvest and transform it into our finest spirits. Choose between a 45-minute tour or find out even more by scheduling a VIP behind-the-scenes tour to get the taste of the full Revelton experience. You can visit them at 1400 West Clay Street in Osceola, Iowa, or find all of Revelton's award-winning spirits at any local grocery or spirits retailer.
That's what's up. And we will have all of their brands of liquor at the tailgate this fall. So before the game, we're going to have the tailgate, the Jack Trice tailgate for the Trice Legacy Foundation, raising some funds. We're going to have some brisket sandwiches, some chicken sandwiches, and some pulled pork sandwiches. We're gonna have this other special drink that we'll talk about in a minute there as well. We're gonna try to get the butter cow, but it might be cold, it might be hot in Iowa. You don't never know what. The butter jack might not make it. Then we got a couple other surprises that are gonna be there too. But speaking of Revelton, I did want to just say to all our fans that everybody's been seeing this, and I like to put things in the air to see what happens and what sticks. And I did reach out to Maker's Mark, and I made this label because you can make a label for your bottle. And I made this and put it on the social media, tag them, that they can't do a special release, just like Revelton is not able to do those things on a short notice because the barrels are made for certain things. And so they did get back to me. They did respond and say that they could not do it for us, but they supported us in what we were doing. So shouts out to Maker's Mark. Shouts out to Revelton for doing that for us. But, we do have something that's coming out. First Down Brewing owner, operator, mind behind the man is the man. Sam Anker is the guy for First Down Brewing. And Ship, can you run your video real quick? You got that queued up?
I'll get it up. Yep.
Okay, so
give me 1 second.
All right, so he's gonna get that up. We're gonna show a little clip that we've been showing all day of something coming out this fall that we've been working on.
Keep talking.
Okay, keep talking. So before you put it up, I'll come back to you. So
okay.
A lot of media buzz. I'm gonna get right. You know what? I'm gonna get right into it. A lot of media buzz going on. So we got Sam on here because Price Legacy, Peachtree, First Down Brewing. I said First Down Brewing last because they are here, so I want them to actually talk. But we came out with this idea. Sam approached me as a family member of Jack, said he wanted to honor Jack. Played in Jack Trice, want to honor Jack. You can bring Brent on too. We got another guest on here, Brent Blum from the We Will Collective. We can throw him on there too. So we're just talking about it. So you can throw Brent on whenever he gets on. But there are 3 beers coming out this fall that are Iowa State themed beers, and the 3 beers are the Clone Fest Craft Beer, the We Will Collective Ames Lager, and then we have Legend Red Cornell. And so I want to talk about these because I've been seeing some posts, and I don't want to get in Twitter wars and thumb finger wars with people. And so I didn't want to say nothing online, but I want to talk about this. So I want to address a comment from my man Aaron. You, my man. Aaron actually took over the Columbus Alumni Association for me when I left Columbus. He now lives in Iowa. But one of the comments that I did want to address was he said that about us spreading and diluting the market with these having 3 beers this fall. And I want to talk about that because I want to, he talked about giving his money and supporting these causes. All 3 of these beers are by a retailer. That's the truth. It's by a retailer. These are not made by Trice Legacy. They are not made by We Will Collective. We get all the money and funds from this. These are partnerships with breweries that are retail and for-profit organizations that are making money. And we get a part of that back to the things that are important to us, whether that's Brent and the NIL, funding the NIL deals and things that he's doing from the We Will Collective, and what the Trice Legacy Foundation is doing from a scholarship standpoint and technology to give young Black kids opportunities to further themselves. Those are the 2 things there. So I want to say that while you talk about giving your treasure to something, you're buying beer. It really is what it boils down to, and it's where you decide to put your beer at. I got, Santan Brewing Company beers in mine. I got Asahi Japanese beer in my fridge. I got like 3 or 4 different kinds of beers in my fridge because I like different tastes. I like different beers for different reasons. And when certain people come over, they want a certain beer or they have a certain test. And so that's one of the things that I want to do is talk about. That's where this is. And so you choose to do that. But Brent and I have a partnership. Brent sent players to my golf event. This is not a competition between Brent and I. These are different distillers that are doing it, breweries that want to partner with us to help our causes. And it's not, and I want to bring this out. I want to say this quote word for word. While there will be a revenue piece that is great for us, more than anything, we look at this as an exposure and a fan engagement piece. I don't know. Does anybody on here know who said that? Brent said that. So Brent said that, and I agree with Brent on that because this isn't about the money and the revenue. Yes, we're going to get a kickback to the foundation. Brent's going to get a kickback on to his nonprofit. That's what it's about. But the brand recognition. Now you see the We Will. Now you see the Legend beer, the Ames beer, the Clone Fest Craft Beer. Just so you know, Iowa State is a for-profit entity. Those monies are not going back to a nonprofit. No district, not in a negative way. Royalties from those sales go right back to Iowa State athletics. That's what that is. Brent and I are nonprofits. We want the recognition. We're expanding our brand. That's what we're trying to do. Brent has his brand growing well. He had beers to sample at Ragbri. He's about and sold out, had lines there. I got there and he couldn't even give me a beer. He didn't even save me one. Didn't even save me a beer. I'm not going to talk about that. But again, that's where I want you all to understand that you're not giving us money. If you want to donate directly to We Will Collective, you can do that. If you want to go directly and donate to Trice Legacy Foundation, you can do that. If you want to go to Marcus's and donate to Hunger Loaves, you can do that. But by buying the beer, you are supporting a nonprofit and you are supporting a business owner, as in Sam Anker, who's here with us right now.
Right.
He is the business owner that is helping us to get our name and brand out while they get their name and brand out. Peachtree and all the other distributors and distillers that are doing this are a business, and they want to partner because right now it's hot. A lot of people drink beer in Iowa, people. There's room for a lot of beer. You know, and there's a lot of games. You know, so just support the cause because you're buying beer. You don't know if I'm getting 100% from Sam on this. Sam, am I getting 100%?
A little shy of that, George.
Okay, little shy of that. Brent, you're not getting 100%. That's not what it is. Like Brent's quote said. So before I get back to them and let them talk, I want to show the footage of our beer that's coming out because this is my podcast with Marcus and them. So let's show mine first. Me and Sam's and Peachtree gonna go first. That's what I'm talking about. As the 100th year anniversary, that's why this one is so special, and that's why we have Jack on the can. You know, if you look at things, you look at what Iowa State does, you look at what Brent does from We Will, they're using the words of Jack Trice. My foundation is the only one using the image of Jack Trice, and I gave that ability to use that to Sam, First Down Brewing, and Peachtree. And that is because, you know, as a family, that's a recognizable pose of him. We took that out, and we want people to know that these proceeds, whatever they are going back to help people in the community of Ames, in the community of Iowa, and at Iowa State. And so, Sam, I want you to talk about the steps in the process that you took to get to where we are now. And Brent, I want you to do the same thing. Take about the steps in the process to you getting your beer out this fall, because again, Brent and I are not beer brewers, you know, so we are running a nonprofit. And so, Sam, I'll give you the floor to talk about your process from beginning to where we are now, what you're excited about. I know the image of the beer pouring is not red corn ale. I'm going to talk to Ship about that later.
I wasn't going to say anything about that.
I said it. Shipley, I know you're on there listening to me. Yeah, I said it. What are you going to? Yeah, you're on mute. That's good. You should be on mute. That's my guy. So, Sam, the floor is yours on this episode, Aside a Storm.
Yeah. So, you know, it all started with an idea. Looking at the 100 years of Jack Trice, wanted to do something using beer, you know, my industry, to do something to not only expand Jack's legacy, but also give back to the foundation. So I sent an email to, I don't even remember who, someone at Iowa State, thought maybe it was an empty email, waited, you know, a week or so. And then boom, all of a sudden in my inbox, I get this email, says, you know, maybe you should get in contact with George Trice. And I was like, whoa, sweet. So then George emails me and he says, yeah, funny you mentioned this because it's something I wanted to do. Give me a call and we'll talk through it. So hopped on the phone with George. And I was glad George, you were so accepting of it. I didn't know what your thoughts would be. But really, you know, like you said, it's not the money aspect. Honestly, as a business owner, this is probably bad to say, but I'm not money driven. Everything that we do, we want to be for a purpose. And I really saw this as using beer as a platform to spread Jack's legacy. And so George and I started talking, said, yes, love the idea. And then I kind of, I panicked a little bit. So just to put it in perspective, our brewery is super small on the craft brewery spectrum. So we have a 1-barrel system. Just to put it in perspective, Peachtree, who we've collaborated with and is brewing this beer, has a 20-barrel system. So 20 times the amount that I can brew. So when George was so on board with it, I was like, sweet, this is awesome. Let's do it. Then I was like, now I got to find someone to do it. So, in any industry, you kind of, you look for different ways to get into markets and everything. And for us, it was about finding a brewery that was local, and also had the same mindset as we did. And Peachtree just seemed to fit. So I reached out to Megan McKay, the CEO of Peachtree, told her the idea. I said, I think this is a great cause. I'd love to push this for George and the foundation, get Jack's name out. I just don't have the ability to do it myself. Megan listened, loved the idea. George and Megan and I started talking, started coming up with name, label, and I think the name just fits. I mean, it's just it really signifies, Jack's legacy. So that was really, how we got started. It was an idea, call it luck if you want, preparation met opportunity, and I just ran with it. So
Sam was at a one of his son's soccer event or baseball event, teaching his daughter about Jack Trice and texting me, and he blew up my phone. And the next morning, he's like, "Sorry, I blew up your phone. I was just really excited." And
yeah,
so I'm like, "Man, this is awesome!" I'm like, "Let's go!" And so it really was, the luck of the draw for us to get connected on something when I was just talking about it. And like Sam said, he reached out to Iowa State, and Iowa State directed him to me because when you're a business, you can't tell what's all in your cards in your hand. So they were already working on the beer that was going to get released like a week or two after the conversation we started. So that's why they said, okay, maybe you work with them. So it was them saying, okay, we're a business, we have something in the works. Not that it was a bad idea, but they already had something going on. We just hit that fire so late. But what it is I'm glad it came to us because it helps further our cause. So Brent, Sam, I appreciate that. Brent, I don't know how your story differs or how, you got into thinking about doing this, but I want to hear your story as you talk about what you all did.
Yeah, well, first of all, guys, appreciate you having me on. And I know Marcus had to step off, but it's an honor to be on the same program as George Trice, Sam, and Marcus Pfizer. I feel like I'm Chris Mim, though. I don't want to get dunked on here like Marcus did back in the day. No, but it's very similar. We saw... really, the thing about Iowa State fans, and this is why I think this fits everything perfectly, and certainly, we're all on the same team here, is we don't have a Phil Knight, we don't have oil barons or tycoons. We have a fan base that likes to drink beer, and the more beer, the better, is my attitude. And so I don't think it's like, oh my gosh, you've got all these beers. It's like, great, we have all these beers. And honestly, how cool is it going to be when you go into your local Hy-Vee or your Fairway or your Casey's or Come and Go to have 3 different Iowa State beers to choose from, and it outnumbers that other looking black and gold one 3-1, right?
Yep.
So I think at the end of the day, there is room for all this, and I'm so excited to go to Jack Trice and that first football game and see all those beers in the lots. I think it's fantastic, and it shows that we can all work together here. And that's what it takes at Iowa State, is everybody has to be going the same direction. So we had very similar to what Sam said. We saw these things popping up with collectives and nonprofit partnerships with different brewers. And we thought, gosh, Iowa State fans have the reputation of being able to take down some beer. So let's take advantage of that. And it's been really fun to see come together. But then the support, not only of our beer, of Ames Lager, but then also the Clone Fest through Iowa State, and now the Legend beer. And at the end of the day, what people will see is they all kind of work together. They're all telling the similar story, and that is representing Iowa State fans here in the state, all for great causes. And while, our mission is different than the Trice Legacy mission and different than Iowa State's mission, we're all trying to gather Iowa State fans together for a purpose. And it comes down to community to me. It's like, what better way to gather people than when you have 61,500 at Jack Trice all having a beer that support their cause. And the great thing is they're all 3 separate beers. And listen, I like beer. I don't like to drink the same beer all the time.
Yes.
So to have options is really, really cool. And, I think some people always want to look for the negative with these types of things. Like there's some sort of, faction or rivalry. And it's really not the case. It's like the more beer, the better. Let's figure it out. And, I haven't met Sam, I haven't met you, George. I know you guys are in it for all the right reasons. And gosh, people who know what we're doing at We Will, obviously we take that message from Jack Trice. That has great gravity to us, and we want to represent that well. But we're trying to do right by the student athletes and by the Iowa State student athletes in particular. So we're trying to do a positive difference. And beer is just another avenue of so many that we can get the word out of what Iowa State's all about. And that is all working together for one overarching purpose, which is to keep elevating the Cyclones and ultimately Jack Trice's message for sure.
That's what's up. So, I'm gonna, and it's funny. What the thing is, Iowa State partnered for a beer that they don't sell in the stadium. They don't sell beer in the stadium. Change that. But
we're getting there, George. We're gonna figure that out.
It's slow, but it'd be great if Iowa State's listening to this. I mean, I'm hoping like someone that has an end zone named after him is listening to this, and let's just put all 3 beers in that end zone for the season. Let's get all 3 beers on tap in there. For that. And your name. I'm not calling you out. But it'd be great if we could actually try to figure out some way to get all of them, supported in the stadium in the Sioux Cup end zone this fall. That would be kind of awesome. I'm gonna try to work on that.
I was in there on Thursday, George, and there was 9 different beers on tap. So what's an extra 3, right?
Exactly. And they're gonna have the Ames lagers. And like you said, a craft beer is different than a corn lager, and it's different than so they're all different beers for different palates.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Yeah. I mean, it's not the fact that they're all a lager or they're all a golden ale or whatever. They're all 3 different beers. And I think that just makes them complement each other more.
Yeah. And how cool. I mean, you get your 12-pack, right? Or you got your tailgate, and it's like, okay, who wants what? Like, we've got a little bit of everything here.
Yep.
I think that's going to be neat. And honestly, like, our concern right now, I'll just be transparent, is we don't know if we're going to have enough with the demand out there. So,
Sam, say it one more time. Say that one more time. Say that one more time for real.
I didn't say it.
Brent, say it one more time. Sorry.
Oh, I don't know if we're going to have enough. So
Sam, say it. Say it, Sam.
What do you want me to say, George? I don't know if we're going to have enough. I don't know if we're going to have enough. But we're going to do our damnedest to have enough.
We are trying to sell out in the first weekend because we're in the same thing with you. Like, it's a limited production of this, and we want to prove that this is the right move for the distillers that are part of this, for the fans that are part of this. We want them to make it big because we want to sell out of our first batch to make the distributors and the brewers make more, right?
Yeah. And so the thing is, would you rather grab an Iowa State beer that helps the Trice Legacy, We Will, or Iowa State as a whole, or do you want to buy that Swarm thing? Come on now. We know the right choice.
Yeah.
Let's support the Cardinal and Gold no matter what direction it is.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up. So I would be remiss. I know that our audience, knows what you're doing, Brent, but I do want you to tell us in your elevator speech about what the We Will is, the collective is, what you're doing, what's your goal, because you said our mission is different. Tell us about you so that our listeners, that don't know what you're doing, know what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. And so, I mean, I like to think that we're trying to use NIL for good, specifically right here in the state of Iowa, and then even more specifically with youth organizations. So what we do, what some collectives are doing, and thank you, Chris, for putting up our website, just renewed website we just put up there. But what we're doing is, instead of just giving these student athletes paychecks for showing up and playing at Iowa State, we want to do good with the money that they're receiving. So what we do is we've now partnered with 35 different nonprofits in Central Iowa, including the Trice Legacy Foundation. And we compensate the student athletes in order to provide exposure for those nonprofits. So we had, George, 6 to 7 guys, seven guys at your golf tournament, and they loved it because so it's 2-pronged, right? So number one, it provides some visibility for those nonprofits. You know, we'll do some autograph football, some autograph basketballs for some of them. We might, you know, help them with some auction items. And then it's also just nice to have those guys there. But then secondly, it's important for the student athletes to realize, just like a professional athlete has to, you have to do community work as part of your, just as part of the greater whole. And so by those guys going to the Trice Legacy Foundation golf outing, they realized, oh my gosh, there is more to Jack Trice that still exists than just what we see and hear from our coaches and from the media. This legacy is still living on through all the great things you guys are doing for diversity and scholarships and all the important things. And similar with these other nonprofits we've worked with is the players, yes, they get compensated, but then they also learn, gosh, there's more to it out there. And then hopefully in our perfect world, and there's another great example we did a couple of weeks ago, we had a charity softball game, members of the Iowa State football team and members of the Iowa football team. And the two of us came together through the collectives, and we raised $250,000 for Make-A-Wish Foundation. They did not pay a dime to the football players. We handled all of that, but their visibility alone helped raise $250,000 for kids to get wishes to go to Disney World and to go horseback riding, and all the kids that may need a wish in the state of Iowa. And that's what it's for. And so, yes, could we just write a check? We could, but we've now worked with Boys and Girls Club, YSS, Make-A-Wish Foundation, Des Moines YMCA, all these great Special Olympics, all these great nonprofits that hopefully make an impact. And so not only the kids that get impacted, because when I was growing up, guys, my idols were Iowa State football and basketball players. So I can only imagine what it's like for a 10-year-old now to have a TJ Tampa come to their camp and teach them how to play corner, or Miles Purchase, or insert Omaha Blue, whoever it is. But then secondly, for the players, they then get a deeper connection to the community. So when Texas A&M calls, or when Texas calls, or when Ohio State calls, they think, you know what? I love it in Ames. I love my teammates. I love my coaches, but I also love the community that supports me. And I made those connections through that nonprofit. So, you know, for us, we're trying to do great things. We now have over 4,000 donors to the collective. So it's been cool to see come together. Are we going to catch schools like Iowa, Ohio State, Michigan, and Texas? No. But I do think with what we're doing, we're now able to provide a base compensation for every football and men's and women's basketball player. And then honestly, at the end of the day, guys, we're basically providing for each football player enough money so they can pay their parents to come back for a football game. So I like to tell this story. And then again, I get on my soapbox here. So thank you for giving me the platform here.
Oh, no doubt.
So Anthony Johnson, great Cyclone, fifth-year Cyclone. If you know Anthony's story at all, he grew up in really poor, rough upbringing in St. Petersburg, Florida. He lived going hotel room to motel room to hotel room growing up. Iowa State was the first place he really had a steady meal. But he stayed for 5 years. He could not get NIL until his last year. The first time we paid Anthony to do a nonprofit event, he sent that money to pay the power bill from back home. And so we realized, oh my gosh, like that's way above and beyond. Like, how can we help you out? He's like, I'd love my parents to come back for a game. So we surprised Anthony on his senior day by flying his entire family through funds from the We Will Collective up to the senior day when he was recognized. And then they also stayed for his graduation. It just so happens, George, and you know this through Anthony, but Anthony is big in the Trice program as well, and spoke recently in the fall as well. But the neat part, Anthony gets drafted by the Packers, and he told me that spring, he's like, you guys helped me so much. We didn't give him that much, I'm going to be honest, but enough to get his family back for a game. He said, when I make the NFL, and he said it, when I make the NFL, not if, I'm going to make a donation back to the collective to help the current guys that need help. And he gets drafted on a Saturday. Monday, I had an alert in my inbox that Anthony Johnson made a donation back to the collective. And it's like, that's what it's all about. It's like, we're not trying to buy these guys cars and these massive trips or anything. It's literally to help their family come watch them at Iowa State and add to the Iowa State experience. And that's what I'm most proud of, what we've been able to do so far. And yeah, would we like as much money as Ohio State and Michigan and Texas? Sure. But we hope to provide an even better Iowa State experience for what they're already getting in a wonderful environment with the coaching staffs we have and all the other great messaging around Iowa State. So we just want to be a part of the conversation. So thank you for asking, and super excited about where we're going, but also all these great partnerships we've been able to have because of NIL. And it's not just a bad word anymore.
Let me say something real quick.
Yep.
So a deeper on Anthony is that every football player gets a stipend to live.
Yes.
Anthony kept $75 to $100 of his stipend and sent the other $500 home.
That's correct.
Every month.
Yep.
I just texted Anthony the other day. I always text him and say, "How you doing? What do you need?" Because when I heard his story, because they flew his family out and surprised him when we dedicated the street name and the new Breaking Barrier sculpture. So I got a chance to meet his mom, and I'm like, if your mom needs something, if you need something, let us know so we can help you in a way, because he was the first recipient of the Jack Trice endowed athletic scholarship. So he's the first winner of that. It just came up, and he's well deserved of that. And so I have a pair. We're getting 3 pair of custom cleats. The cleats that Iowa State's wearing this year, we have 3 pair getting custom made right now, custom painted and stuff right now. One of them is going to Anthony. He's going to wear them preseason, pregame, just give them to him so he can do that. I don't got a size for Allen. Allen said he'd do it too, but I don't have no more size shoes for him. But the fact that this young man did what he did, it's just like that character. It's Jack Trice. It's that selflessness, knowing that you're going out there for a greater cause and doing it. And then, like you said, saying, when I make it, because I was back for a practice and he was coming out. I was at practice watching the guys play, and he comes out from training and he had gained 15 pounds, but it was all muscle. He slimmed up, gained, because he was getting ready. Like he had to switch positions, learn a new position to go into the NFL, and got drafted in his new position, not his college position, but his new position. And that just shows the kind of work ethic that this guy had and the skill that Anthony Johnson Jr.
And Anthony's awesome, but there's so many guys that have maybe not to that degree of a story, but they have a story. And what I've learned through this is, obviously we want Iowa State to be competitive by keeping its best players. But the help you can provide some of these guys who can't get jobs because they are full-time athletes, that's what we're here for. Like we're here to help them. And there's been a lot of stories that we don't even promote because it's nobody's business, of guys that have struggled with family issues that we've been able to provide some support. They're not star players, but it's the right thing to do. And that's what we're trying to do with these dollars. We're not, this isn't Texas A&M buying an entire football roster here. We're just trying to help the guys that we have, guys and gals. And so that's where it comes. And that's why I don't think like this whole beer thing. It's like, man, are we hopeful we'll make a little money from it? Yes. But more than anything, I'm hoping people will get the can and they'll wonder, well, what is that all about? Or they'll get the legend can. They'll think, well, what is the Trice legacy really all about? And they'll learn more and then want to help out beyond just drinking a beer. Because honestly, guys, I wish we could just survive on beer sales. It's not going to happen. So I hope it's the gateway to something bigger where they understand, man, NIL can be okay, and we're doing this in a good way.
I'll just comment here from a fan perspective, because I've not been involved in the program like Sam or George or Brent or anybody that on that scale. The statement, Brent, that you just said about we're not doing this to buy people a bunch of cars and everything else. The fact that we have the caliber of men that are in that program that want to come here and know that, and know they're not there to make a big amount of money or whatever, but to make a difference, to go to a kid's event or whatever else.
Yep.
That makes me proud as a fan base to know that we have those types of men. And the biggest thing for me is I remember when you started this We Will Collective, and there were some rumblings by some local media members that were like, I can't believe you have to pay these kids to go to these events. That trashes it, or that lowers it. I can tell you, as a father of 2 kids who participated in Victory Day, who were the first ever kid captains at Iowa State, those kids have they wouldn't have any idea if that player or not was there because somebody gave them some money or not. The lasting impression and image and memory that they have, that those people treated them with some decency and respect, is all that matters.
Yep.
And then in turn, no amount of money is going to give those players the feeling of accomplishment that they would get. No amount of money makes up for that. So this is why it's so important for me and for Three Beers Media, I think, that we foster those types of relationships as well.
Yeah, and that's why and thank you for saying that, Chris. And that has been surprised. So I was with the Iowa State Foundation for 7 years before taking on this role and loved it. But man, the impact you can have on these guys who do so much for Iowa State and just to help them a little bit has been so rewarding. Let me tell you one more quick story. And again, I'm sorry for capitalizing your time.
This is my podcast.
Yeah, sorry, George. Real quick. So we had my first day on the job was literally a year ago today. I get a call from Will McDonald. And Will had opportunities he had turned down opportunities to go to different schools during the summer, but then he also, right before fall camp, the opportunity to sign with an agency out in California and basically just skip his senior year of school. And they gave him a large contract to do that, sign with an agency and just work out for the NFL draft. He didn't want to do that, but he's like, I still want to be able to bring my family into a couple of games. So we came up with an arrangement and compensated Will, but he first had to work at Food at First, which is a soup kitchen in Ames. And he's literally handing out food to these homeless folks in Ames. And Will turns to me at one point, he says, I didn't know this existed in Ames. I'd like to come back here on my own sometime. And he did. And nobody knew about it. He did that a couple times in the fall, but we didn't pay him for that. But again, and then now that he's a first-round pick, it all worked out well for Will that he stayed true, loyal, forever true, literally. And now he's a first-round NFL pick. But he's a wonderful guy, and we were to help him just enough so that he stayed in Ames and tell stories like that. And he doesn't want people to know that, but I mean, just quality people. Back to your earlier point, quality people that are in Iowa State. Anything we do to help them, that's what it's all about. And continue to kind of build on what we all love about the place. And we're never going to have the most money. But, man, there's nothing stopping us from having the most impact.
I do want to say I want to thank Sam, and I want to tell Brent I was pissed at him. So what I mean, and this is the truth. This is true. This is a true story. I get a little upset with Iowa State at times. Love Iowa State, lowest sums ever true. Like you said, love Iowa State. Wouldn't change anything for the world. They've done a great job from an athletic standpoint. And what I'm trying to do with Jack's story is from the academic standpoint and what he wanted to do after. And just like with the Jack Trice Endowed Scholarship, I got talked to about that prior to it coming out, and I said I wasn't on board with it. I don't think somebody should be able to use Jack Trice's name in a scholarship without talking to me first. And the foundation you work for, they went behind me and they did it anyway. And I was getting calls from my donors saying, hey, like one of my good donors. He's like, or not my donor, one of my good friends, like, hey, I heard your scholarship got endowed. I said, no, that's not mine. Where did you hear that at? He had to send me the article because it came out without me knowing. There are a couple other things. The 5 bars. Now, I'm not going to show my chest, but I got the 5 bars tattooed right here on my chest. I love the 5 bars. That wasn't talked to with me. I'm the representative for the family. When I saw the We Will and people talking about the We Will, I was pissed. I'm like, how are they going to come out with this We Will? And that has to do with my cousin. And no one's talked to me or reached out to me to even say, hey, George, this is what we're thinking. Because if it didn't have to do with money, I got referred. Iowa State was some kids my way. It didn't have to do with money. It wasn't something I was taking away from them. They gave it to me all day. But if it had something to do that was coming back to them, they didn't want to share that information with me. That's why I had got mad for a while. And then I saw what you all were doing. And I looked at that and I said, they are embracing what Jack stood for. So I can't be mad at him. Like, but it's like, Sam came to me first and said, hey, before he could have just went and tried to do something on his own. And then I would have saw him and like, man, that's messed up. But he reached out, got connected. And that's the thing is about, the camaraderie, the talking it through with each other and going for that greater cause. So I want to let you know, I do appreciate you and everything you are doing and have been doing. And that's why I've been supporting you since you've been in this role.
Well, and George, I'll be honest, I was not a part of the founding of it. And that would have been one of my first calls, honestly, was to make sure, because I think that's the last thing that we want to do is to, somehow, I don't know what the right word is, but take advantage of such a critical and important figure to Iowa State. And by no means is that the purpose.
I will do good. I will do more than my part.
Exactly. And that's kind of where that's was the intention, was that whole message across more than just what you are on the field. It's beyond that. And that, I think that was the original founders of the collective. That was the goal. But the fact that I've been now be able to meet you a couple of times, and certainly appreciate all you do for the Legacy Foundation, just really everything for Iowa State and for underrepresented populations. It is so cool to me. And this is what I love about Iowa State. And I was telling this to Shipley last week, is it's not necessarily as many games as we win on the football or basketball field. It's the people that you meet, and it's the community that is built. And that's where I think these beers come in, is like, it's one more way to build that community. You know, you could get a Michelob Ultra, you could get, a Blue Moon, but you get one of these beers and it shows that you're a part of that community. And that's what I love about the online presence of Iowa State fans, even through all the toxicity, is I know Chris Shipley has my back. I know George Trice has my back. I've met Sam once. I trust Sam. I mean, that's what we have to do as Cyclones. We're not the biggest. We're not the most wealthy, but man, we're going to stick together more than anything. And I think there's real power in that. And that's what I'm most proud of what we're trying to do, is to keep all these connections together.
I don't know if y'all remember when, how long ago was this? 15 years, when Brian Ali was on Big Brother.
Yes,
y'all remember?
My guy, yeah.
So B. Ali wore an Iowa State shirt every episode. He always wore an Iowa. Like, you're on Big Brother wearing an Iowa State shirt all the time. You know, and that's what it is. Like when we travel, when I travel anywhere, you got an Iowa State shirt on.
Yep.
You know, you're on a plane, Iowa State. You're on a train, Iowa State, and it is that family. It is that Cyclones forever. It is that Cyclones everywhere aspect. And by us being on here, that shows that. And Shipley don't make me my man. I'm not going to even make Shipley cry right now. But Shipley my man. So, but as we close this, I'm not going to let you talk, Shipley. As we close this episode out, Sam, anything else you want to talk about before we get off of this podcast? Because we've been on about an hour, and my dog's gonna start barking when my wife comes back from the gym. So before they start barking, I want to get off this call. So what you got for us, Sam?
I just want to thank you, George, for the opportunity to do this and really spread the legacy of Jack and get Jack's story out there. And then, thank Brent too for what he's doing with the We Will. Like you guys both mentioned, I think that this is only a collaboration, between all of these beers. They're all different types of beers. And the coolest part too, which Brent alluded to, was going to tailgates this fall and you see, all three of these cans. It's like, do you want a Legend? Do you want an Ames Lager?
Yeah.
Do you want a Clone Fest? And they're all three Iowa State beers, and that's just something that we've literally never seen before. So, I mean, in a sense, you could say that we're making history just like Jack did. So, but yeah, I just want to thank you guys for having me on. Appreciate the opportunity. And I look forward to, seeing where this goes and what we can do for the foundation and We Will. So
Sam, why don't you shout out real quick? Why don't you shout out where people can find you down there in Winterset and come and see you?
Yeah, for sure. So our tap room's located just off the square in Winterset, 106 East Court. So easy to find. Beer's always cold and on tap. So come see us and we'll serve you a cold beer for sure.
Appreciate
and
that.
a little so behind my bar at the brewery, I've got Loyal Sons Forever True. So every time I'm working in the tap room, I'm the only one that sees it, but it's just always in my mindset, Loyal Sons Forever True. So just little Iowa State shout out there.
There you go. Very cool.
What else you got, George?
Sorry, I had to go do something real quick. I want to show something that no one's seen yet. So can you put me on full screen real quick?
Yep.
So I want to show, this is a piece of thick copper, and this is Jack's letter etched in copper that we have. A group of Iowa folks that have a metal business out here. We have this. We're gonna find a way to produce these so people can have Jack's letter in his handwriting on copper in your home. So be on the lookout for that. Now, Ship, I want you to get back on, please. Bring all our guests back on. I want to thank all of our guests for being on tonight. Thank Marcus. He's at the airport taking care of Marcus Jr. But Revelton, appreciate what you've been doing for us as our podcast. We're getting this back started because football season's right around the corner. Three Beers Media. Chip, I know you got about 23 minutes before what?
Old Man Strength will be right back on this Facebook page and YouTube channel with Real Mitchell. So we're super excited to talk to Real. So yeah,
that's
find
what's
out
up.
what he's up to. So
yep. So from Side of Storm. Oh, what's up?
I say, George, when you get that copper thing, I got a wall back here.
You got a wall back
great
there?
On. So yeah, let me know.
Put me on that Put me on that list too, George. I want one of those.
Okay, no doubt. I got you on. I'm meeting with them next week, so I'll put y'all on that list. This is George Trice with Chris Shipley, Sam Anker, and Brent Blum out for the night. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in to Old Man Strength coming up in about 20 minutes. On this same bat channel. We'll talk to y'all in a couple weeks.
Thanks, guys.